Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson isn't the type to invite unnecessary drama. He's known for his relentless positivity, uplifting social media posts, and blockbuster action roles that promote camaraderie, but when he recently pointed a finger at Blake Lively, one of Hollywood's most seemingly wholesome actresses, everyone was left reeling. What could drive a man famous for his inspirational catchphrases and benevolent demeanor to accuse a fellow star of sabotage? And just how deep do these revelations go? The shock began with a single statement. Johnson claimed that after years of watching friends, co-stars, and even his own acquaintances mysteriously lose projects or suffer bad press, he discovered a hidden thread linking these incidents back to Blake Lively. According to him, Lively was quietly feeding rumors, whispering doubts into the ears of influential decision-makers, and planning stories in tabloids to undermine specific actors and actresses. At first, the allegations seemed far-fetched for Hollywood watchers. After all, Lively's public persona is that of a warm-hearted, family-oriented star who built a brand on sharing recipes, cooking videos, and witty banter with her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Yet the more people dug into these claims, the more unanswered questions began to surface. The wave of disbelief slowly morphed into a collective re-examination of events that had once been dismissed as typical Hollywood gossip. A-listers like Jennifer Lawrence and Scarlett Johansson, who had encountered puzzling roadblocks or random waves of bad press, suddenly appeared to fit into a larger puzzle. Could Lively, the woman so many admired for her easygoing charm, really have orchestrated a campaign of carefully placed sabotage? The Rock insisted that she had done it methodically, often under the radar, using her connections to production houses, stylists, and publicity teams to ensure certain rumors landed right where they could do the most damage. And if he was telling the truth, the fallout could forever alter Lively's standing in the industry. The first domino Johnson referenced was Jennifer Lawrence. At her peak, Lawrence seemed untouchable. She won an Oscar, anchored the Hunger Games franchise, and received raves for her comedic timing in various interviews. But as quickly as she'd soared to stardom, she began fading from the spotlight. The official story was that she took a break to catch her breath. Unofficial rumors hinted she'd become difficult, constantly late, or possibly burn out by the industry's demands. These whispers seem small, but in Hollywood, reputation is currency, and once lost, it's almost impossible to get back. Johnson revealed that the hush-hush talk about Lawrence's supposed unprofessionalism could be traced back to Lively. She allegedly planted seeds of doubt, maneuvering through casting circles with subtle hints that Lawrence couldn't handle the pressure anymore. The result was immediate. Lawrence was quietly removed from top prospect lists for major roles, replaced by other rising stars more willing or able to deal with the grind. By the time Lawrence realized how her image had morphed into that of an unreliable celebrity, it was too late. That alone would have raised eyebrows. But The Rock claimed Lively didn't stop at Lawrence. Next in her line of fire, Scarlett Johansson, renowned as a versatile actress and one of the highest-paid women in Hollywood. Johansson had once been unstoppable. Her role as Black Widow in Marvel's Cinematic Universe broke barriers, and her artistic range spanned from indie darlings to major blockbusters. Then, unexpectedly, contract negotiations for her future roles leaked to the media. Details of her salary requests were splashed across gossip columns, painting her as greed-driven and out of touch. Audiences who had adored her began calling her demands exorbitant. Studios, always wary of negative headlines, hesitated to cast her in roles that required long-term public support. According to Johnson, these confidential negotiations fell into the wrong hands at the perfect time for Lively, who evidently had the motive of diminishing Johansson's star power, perhaps to open up new opportunities for herself or simply to knock a perceived rival down a few pegs. Whether that sabotage was personal or strictly strategic, the public's perception of Johansson took a noticeable hit. The harshest twist in this narrative emerged when Johnson named Ryan Reynolds, Lively's own husband, among her alleged victims. For years, Reynolds and Lively epitomized the modern Hollywood power couple, always sharing playful Instagram posts and comedic banter, but behind those polished social media snapshots, there may have been a more complicated dynamic. Insiders whispered that Lively would pressure Reynolds to reject roles that might overshadow her if he was offered a film that promised huge box office success or intense media focus. Lively supposedly planted doubts that nudged him away from it. The Rock's revelations painted a picture of a spouse who wanted to control every aspect of her partner's professional trajectory, ensuring that she remained front and center whenever possible. While this all sounded outlandish to fans of their seemingly perfect relationship, the claims raised an unsettling question. How many career moves of Reynolds, the comedic genius behind the Deadpool franchise, were shaped by external market forces? And how many were quietly influenced by his wife? Then came the shock that roped in Taylor Swift, someone Lively had long flaunted as a friend. Swift is famously selective about her inner circle, especially after surviving several very public feuds and controversies for years. Fans love seeing Swift and Lively share photos, trade jokes online, and look genuinely supportive of each other's careers. But The Rock's account suggests that this friendship might have been a tactical goldmine for Lively. By getting close to Swift, she allegedly learned private details about the pop star's upcoming projects, romantic entanglements, and creative vulnerabilities. Whenever Swift prepared a major album release or a high-profile music video launch, damaging rumors would bubble up, causing just enough distraction and negativity to overshadow Swift's big moments. Critics previously chalked up these rumors to normal pop culture gossip, but fans have since begun to re-examine the timelines. They see that each wave of negativity suspiciously coincided with moments that should have been. Swift's triumphs. Swift's decision to skip events that Lively and Reynolds attended fueled additional chatter. Had the pair's friendship truly soured? Or was Swift distancing herself because she suspected the rumors came from someone inside her circle? The allegations extended even further, ensnaring younger stars such as Anna Kendrick, Zendaya, and Selena Gomez. Each had faced confounding moments in their careers that left fans scratching their heads. Kendrick, for instance, missed out on roles she seemed destined for often at the last minute. Gossip circulated that she was ungrateful or difficult, to descriptors that rarely matched her public persona. Zendaya, riding high on critical acclaim and a massive fan base, encountered abrupt changes in her casting trajectory. Projects she'd been attached to mysteriously fell through, with official explanations boiling down to creative differences. But the Rock's story points to well-placed phone calls or hush-hush discussions by Lively, who allegedly labeled Zendaya as inexperienced or tough for directors to work with. Then there's Selena Gomez, whose public image had already been tested by health issues and relationship drama. She regularly found herself in the crosshairs of tabloid speculation about her emotional well-being, timing that seemed especially harsh whenever she prepared new music or embarked on personal projects. Now fans worry that Lively deliberately leaked information about Gomez's private struggles to ensure the star remained on the defensive, overshadowed by tabloids rather than free to thrive in her career. What truly stunned Hollywood insiders was Lively's rumored sway over critics and festival curators. Emma Stone, blessed with an Oscar, beloved for her comedic timing, and praised for her charm, started getting lukewarm responses to roles that should have been surefire hits. Studio executives who had championed Stone's wide-ranging talent suddenly worried that she was only bankable in comedic roles. The shift felt strange and unexplainable, but The Rock hinted that Lively systematically planted these doubts, causing Stone to lose out on more serious projects. Through measured conversations and carefully placed suggestions, Lively manipulated the impression that Stone lacked the dramatic chops to carry weightier scripts. In an industry where momentum is paramount, such sabotage can derail even the most promising star's trajectory. Leonardo DiCaprio, an actor whose track record seemed virtually impervious to gossip, also found himself unexpectedly dragged into the swirl. Lively had briefly dated DiCaprio in the past, a relationship that ended quietly. But once her star rose further, The Rock claimed she whispered damaging anecdotes to tabloids about Leo's personal habits, painting him in a darker light than usual. While DiCaprio's aura and subsequent Oscar win for The Revenant remained solid, the timing of the gossip cast a shadow during important award seasons. Some close to DiCaprio say he was rattled by the surge in negativity and suspected someone behind the scenes was orchestrating it. Yet he never publicly confronted the speculation. Perhaps he considered it part of the Hollywood game. Or maybe he preferred keeping his focus on environmental advocacy rather than engaging in a war of rumors. Margot Robbie, widely celebrated for her charismatic presence and range, also faced an odd wave of diva rumors that emerged out of nowhere. Directors who have been praising her dedication and professionalism suddenly stepped back, citing potential friction that no one could confirm. Like a domino effect, she lost several high-profile roles that would have expanded her resume significantly. Once again, The Rock placed the blame on Lively, suggesting she had a pattern of targeting actresses who threatened her own standing. By labeling Robbie as difficult, Lively ensured studios saw her as a risk, especially if they already had a stable of reliable leading ladies waiting in the wings. So why would Blake Lively, adored for her openness and lifestyle brand, go to such lengths? Some observers believe it was insecurity. Hollywood is a fiercely competitive arena, especially for women who must fight for the few complex, high-paying roles available. Lively, despite her accolades and public adoration, may have feared being overshadowed by other actresses with stronger critical acclaim or bigger, more passionate fandoms. By quietly directing negative narratives, she could clear the playing field and elevate her own status. Others point to a desire for control, something that might extend beyond her professional life and into her marriage. If these allegations hold any truth, her desire to manage Ryan Reynolds' career choices was simply another extension of a need to maintain superiority, ensuring their dynamic never tilted far in his favor. Then there's the question of how she kept her own image untarnished. Some suspect she cultivated a persona of a down-to-earth homemaker, comfortable in the kitchen, eager to share comedic jabs at her husband, an image so disarming it would make any whisper of sabotage seem unthinkable. Meanwhile, she aligned herself with top-tier producers, stylists, and media personalities. Anyone who might have discovered her behind-the-scenes strategies would either stay silent to protect their own positions or lack the power to be believed if they spoke out. After all, who would suspect a sweet, smiling star of launching whisper campaigns? The enigma at the center of it all is The Rock. Why would he risk his own positive reputation and billions of dollars in brand value to out Lively? Some hypothesize that Johnson, known for his sense of loyalty, witnessed a particularly blatant form of sabotage against a friend. Perhaps he gathered evidence over time, horrified by the scale and repetition of these tactics. Others wonder if he had a personal conflict with Lively. Maybe she tried to manipulate one of his projects or threaten an individual he cared about. The Rock has offered only vague statements so far, implying that once he realized how extensive The damage was he felt compelled to speak up, no matter the cost, and doing so, he might have opened the door for other celebrities to share their experiences, or at least confirm bits and pieces of the rumor mill that once seemed unlinked. Now, fans and insiders alike are scouring interviews, social media posts, and old red carpet moments for signs of tension. They're analyzing the body language between Lively and those rumored to be on her target list. They're also watching Lively's immediate circle, her publicist, her stylists, her longtime friends, to see if anyone jumps ship or hints that The Rock's story is accurate. Meanwhile, tabloids are locked in a frenzy, hunting for any new evidence or statements from the allegedly wrong parties. So far, the silence remains deafening. Lively's camp has not issued a clear denial or admission, perhaps buying time or hoping the storm passes. The entire saga exposes a sobering truth about Hollywood, so much of the industry's reputation. Battles are fought behind closed doors, through untraceable phone calls and subtle endorsements or discouragements. A single whispered remark about a star's difficulty, a well-placed concern about their mental stability, or a strategic leak about salary demands can ruin a career in the span of a few short months. It's an arena where public image is so pivotal that even baseless rumors can bury an actor under a reputation they didn't earn. If Lively indeed mastered this dark art and used it as a tool to manipulate the system, she may have undone years' worth of artistry, talent, and genuine effort from her fellow performers. What happens next could be a turning point for how Hollywood handles internal disputes. Will more actors step forward, risking further repercussions, to confirm The Rock's allegations? Will investigative journalists dig up undeniable proof, such as emails, text messages, or recorded conversations implicating Lively? And how would Lively herself respond if the tide of public sentiment begins to turn against her? After building her brand on transparency and sincerity, an expose of this magnitude could decimate her credibility. Studios and sponsors might back away if the public starts seeing her not as the approachable big sister figure, but as someone who systematically kneecapped her rivals. Fans who once followed her social media for cheerful updates on motherhood, cooking, and comedic spousal pranks may now feel betrayed, rereading old posts with a skeptical eye. As the dust continues to swirl, the future of Blake Lively in Hollywood remains unclear. Some supporters argue that none of these stories are confirmed, and that The Rock, for all his charm, might have his own hidden motives. However, a growing number of spectators jaded by years of seeing the same old media narratives are starting to wonder if they overlooked red flags. Could one star, driven by ambition or fear, have manipulated so many powerful figures? If so, how did this remain hidden for so long? In the end, the only certainty is that the conversation has begun. Hollywood's image is a place of constant reinvention, and glamour might need a thorough re-examination. Who else is practicing this level of cunning? Which careers that fizzled out were actually victims of sabotage rather than personal failings? And could The Rock's bombshell prompt a new era of transparency? Or will it simply become another scandal that fades into tabloids, replaced by the next flashy headline? One thing is sure, these allegations have forever changed how fans and industry professionals view Blake Lively's story, potentially rewriting her legacy as more than just the bright-eyed star who stole America's heart. Instead, she may find herself remembered as someone who took Hollywood's ruthless competition to new, unsettling heights. As of now, Lively hasn't spoken. The silence remains. Fans wait, wondering if she'll break it with a passionate denial or with a measured confession and an apology tour. Perhaps we'll never know the full truth. Hollywood is a knack for burying its secrets once the uproar dies down. But for those whose careers and reputations were allegedly put through the ringer, The Rock's revelations bring a long-awaited sense of validation. They might finally have the answers to why their momentum stalled or why endless gossip plagued them at crucial moments. And for Blake Lively, a woman celebrated for her quick wit and picture-perfect marriage, this storm tests whether she can outrun a scandal fueled by someone with a track record for unwavering fortitude. If there's one person in Tinseltown who can and will keep pressing until every detail is exposed, it's Dwayne Johnson, the unstoppable juggernaut who just turned Hollywood's spotlight on his secrets some people never wanted the world to see.